Hi, beautiful souls. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Spark a Soul podcast. I'm so glad to have you guys here and one of our honorable guests. Her name is Yvette Bowden. She's actually the founder and author of Awakened Women, and she's here to talk to us about a very exciting topic, which is especially close to me because that's something that I'm trying to do in my own life. And the topic is, are you all ready? It's called You Have Everything You Need to Become Your Best Self and Create the Life You Love. And now that's an exciting one, and I'd love to turn the floor over to Yvette to introduce herself and talk just a little bit about why this topic is important to
Hey, thank you for having me share with you a little bit about my story. I think it's something that so many of us women experience throughout our lifetime because as women, we're natural caretakers and we're nurturers. And we sort of forget that we matter and our dreams and our goals matter as well. So thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to get started.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us and being so excited and enthusiastic about Spark a Soul podcast. So tell me a little bit more about you. Who is Yvette? What are you doing in life right now?
Yvette is a work in progress. About, several years ago, I got divorced and it was a very painful divorce. And I went through a process where I had an episode of depression and I tried so many different things to get out of it. And I started journaling along with my therapy. The journaling led me writing a book experience, starting this platform, which has been amazing. It's a platform where I share stories about women across all situations, because we really do have so much in common. And I knew I wasn't the only woman going through these, various feelings. So I set out on this journey to share the stories.
So what made you feel like stories are a way to people's heart? Stories are a way to really share your voice and who you truly are.
I remember growing up, one of the things that was soothing to me, that sort of helped me heal better, was the experiences and listening to my girlfriends' experiences about what they were going through. And it really did help me feel like I wasn't alone. And I want, women, when they read these stories, to feel like, you know what, she's going through it, I'm going through it. We're not that different. We can all learn from each other. It's so important because it's healing, it's engagement, it's connection. And that's why I write these stories.
Beautiful. I love how you reflected on knowing that people need to know that I'm not the only one that's going through it. And reading these stories in these books makes it feel so real that, you're not alone. So where or what part of your life did you feel like you really needed to find who your identity was or what your identity should be?
I was with my ex-husband for close to 10 years, and my daughter was very young. She was about 4 or 5. And I sort of felt like I was a mom. I had a full-time job. I was a wife. I had all these roles that I was playing, and my identity as Yvette was lost. I didn't have hobbies. I didn't really do anything on my own. I stopped going out with my friends. I was all these roles, but I wasn't being Yvette, if that makes any sense.
That makes total sense. I think at least at one point in our life, we all feel this where we stop and say, who am I? What's my purpose? But the hardest part here is, one, it's great that you realize it, but taking that first step is always hard because sometimes you just don't know what to do to figure yourself out. What would be one advice or tip that you would give to someone that's listening out there who's really trying to find out who they are from the inside?
As simple as it sounds, it's the hardest thing to do. But being honest, asking yourself the really hard questions, it's where it all starts. Because I think we tend to hide our real feelings and hide parts of who we are, and owning who we are and being truthful about it. It's so hard. But that's where it all starts, asking yourself those hard questions. I think one of the hardest questions that I do believe that we lie to ourselves about is, am I truly happy? Am I where I want to be? And it's a simple question, right? But it's hard because even at different points of our life, obviously we're not always happy, but are we really where we want to be? Are we truly, genuinely happy with the life that we're living? I think that's where it starts.
Am I truly where I want to be? Through your experiences, how do you think someone knows that they're actually going through the direction of where they want to be, or if they've gotten there? Because it's such an open question for all of us to reflect on, because in life there's so much directions we can go in, and we just want to stay away from the noise where we get lost and overwhelmed. How do we really know if that's the right direction that we're taking towards who we want to be?
I think it starts within. We all have that intuition, that inner voice that really is the most honest part of us. And you really know from deep within when you're not happy. And I'm not saying that you're going to be happy all the time. I still check myself periodically to make sure, am I really happy? Am I where I want to be? And I promise you that intuition, that inner voice really does. It's like an indicator that we all have, but we have to be honest and trust ourselves that we know what's best for us.
It brings up one more important question for me is, how important is it to create the life that you want to live? What do you think about that?
Wow, that's a good question. How important is it? I think it's everything. I think life, especially after everything we've been through, life is short, and, living in your truth, being genuinely happy with the life you're living is everything, because we only get one chance at it. So I think it's everything.
That's a great answer, definitely. Because even myself, I've asked myself this quite a lot. Life is good. I'm just going in the direction of what life is throwing at me, but am I truly happy? And how important is it for me to do the work, put in the effort to create the life that I want to live? And I guess it comes from hard work and knowing yourself and knowing what you want. So that's a great way to say that, yeah, life can be fulfilling. So do you, Yvette, feel more fulfilled in your life that you've kind of gone in the direction of creating the life you love?
I feel that, even the painful moments, they're there for a reason. They're growth opportunities. And I think that's one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn, because we all have pain. And I look at it, my perspective in general about my life is different, and it takes constant practice. It never stops, but it really does make just that feeling that you're sort of doing the things that you love, and being honest with yourself about the life you're living. I think it's worth it. And it's really, really hard. And it's, every day you have to wake up with intention and tell yourself, this is what I want. I want this life, but you have to dig deep. And one of the things that I would say, we tend to be afraid of the truth. I think I would recommend women or listeners to be unafraid. The truth is hard, but once you reach that point of truth, there's no going back. And that's where the good stuff is.
That's very inspirational and empowering, Yvette. Thank you for that. So the last question I really have for you is, so you speak so much about loving your life. What is it about your life that you love so much right now? It's not a trick question.
Be myself. Sometimes I'm a little crazy. Sometimes I'm inspirational. Sometimes I'm even a little sad, but it's all okay, because it's who I am, and I'm okay with it now. I love all aspects of myself, the good and bad.
Amazing.
I think that's a gift.
Thank you for those words. And that has been such an empowering message to our audience as well as myself. So that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much for Yvette for being here today and sharing all these kind words. We'd love to have you back on the show again to share other topics that interest you. And thanks again, Yvette, for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and lending your platform.